Lemonade International is a nonprofit organization that's based here in the United States in Raleigh, North Carolina, that was started early 2008 in March. We started because of a need that we saw of a lack of representation that a friend of ours, close friend of ours in Guatemala City had. Needed help with raising awareness and support for the work that she's doing among some of the poorest people, poorest children especially, in Guatemala City in a neighborhood called La Limonada. In the late 1950s, because of civil war and political unrest in the country, people were fleeing the mountains and the villages to come into the city for a better way of life for themselves and safety. And without a real place to live, people camped out, and people, just their own basic survival skills, they built homes into the side of this ravine that you and I wouldn't even look at it as a possibility of a place where you could even build a home. But over the last 50 years, 60,000 people have made this place home. But because of the topography of the land there, no cars can get into the community. The streets are sidewalk width streets where people live a sidewalk width apart from each other. Corrugated tin roofs, some just corrugated pieces of tin leaned up against another building, and someone sleeps under that to call that home. These small children from 3 to 12, 13, 14 years old roam the streets and many times get caught up into the lifestyle of gangs and drugs, and the drug of choice in that community is a commercial glue that they sniff because it's so cheap. They can't afford street drugs. Even children as small as 7 or 8 years old will have the glue pasted in their hands and hold their hands up to their nose and sniff the glue out of their hands, just to medicate themselves from the pain of the life that they have, because they don't really feel like they have a hope. But thankfully, there's hope. There's hope in that community. There's a school that's been established where now 260 kids are able to have an education. Every day these kids go to school. They line up outside before the school doors open with anticipation of they just can't wait to get inside that building, because they know inside that building they're going to be loved and cared for by teachers who have given their lives really to invest in them. So once they get inside that building, there's age-appropriate activities for each, from kids all the way to from 3 to 15. They teach them Bible lessons. They teach them hygiene. There's sexual education for the older kids, because that's a huge issue in the community. It's terrible how much sexual abuse happens in that community. They're fed breakfast in the morning. They're fed lunch in the afternoon. It's really probably the only healthy meals that they get that day. Well, I have to say that we're really excited about the partnership that's already begun with LifePoint. Our conversations with Donnie and the rest of the staff have just been so exciting to see the LifePoint team and the LifePoint community now have a heart for committing to a long-term relationship, to making a difference in these kids' lives. You and your family can personally be involved in seeing a life transformed there in Guatemala City. These kids get so excited when they finally find out that somebody in the United States has chosen to sponsor them personally. It makes their day. It makes their life to know that there's somebody here in the United States that cares about them. So we're so excited about connecting you in a relationship with these kids in a way that will transform their lives in a very big way, but also will transform the life of your family by knowing that you're caring for someone in a different part of the world. When you make a decision to sponsor a child for just $30 a month, that 100% of those funds get sent to the school to educate that child, to feed them, to nurture them, and to see them mentored and tutored to give them a better life. Every Sunday in January we'll be here. We'll have a booth set up, so after service you'll be able to come meet with a member of our team and ask questions about the child sponsorship program, find out more about the details on how you can personally make a decision as a family to be involved in sponsoring a child. When we first began our discussions with LifePoint about this partnership that we're beginning, we shared a presentation with the LifePoint staff, and Summer Wisher was there. So we're making plans to present this to the church and have children sponsored later, and Summer says, no, I've got to sponsor a child now. And she picked this card, and Alberto was the sponsor card that she picked up, and she began sponsoring him that day. Not only did she just sponsor Alberto, but she called us and said, I have to go there now. So she took 4 days in November and just went there while Leah was there, one of our team members, and spent 4 days there and got to meet Alberto face to face, and she got to experience what his life was like, visit him in his home, and it transformed her life and the time that she was able to spend with him. So our hope is that there will be many people like Summer Wisher who will have opportunities not to just sponsor a child, but go there and visit with that child someday. What we love about the partnership that we have with LifePoint is that we're directing and focusing our attention on not just one country, not even just on one city, but on one community within this city where we can together see people's lives change. 60,000 people who live in this ravine, their lives can be transformed by our focused effort on a long-term partnership and seeing that community transformed over time. And we can do that together. One of the things that we're really excited about is the opportunity to facilitate teams from LifePoint, family members, moms and dads that can go to Guatemala City and spend a week doing a work project for you to see this community firsthand, to experience it for yourself. Not only to invest in those kids, but to invest in your heart being transformed by experiencing a community like this with your own eyes and walking on the ground with your own feet. It's something that will truly transform your life.